Authors Pav tilde. The faint sound of piano filled the empty hallway as she pushed the studio door open. It was supposed to be her quiet practice hour. No noise, no people, just her and the keys. But of course, luck had other plans. There he was, sitting right beside the mic stand, headphones hanging around his neck, eyes glued to her, that signature smirk already playing on his lips. YNPOV. Not him. Not again. /N. Her heart sank. Jungkook, the guy everyone admired. But she knew better. His teasing was endless, and she had zero patience for it today. JK. Oh, look who finally decided to show up. You still play that one sad tune, huh? /N. His voice carried a mockery that made her fingers stiff above the keys. YN. It's called emotion, Jungkook. You should try it sometime. /N. That hit him harder than she expected. His smirk faltered for half a second, but only half. JK. Emotion. Babe, I live in emotion. That's why I'm better. /N. She rolled her eyes, ignoring him as she started to play again. But the next moment, his voice echoed through the mic. JK. You're offbeat. Y/NPOV. I wasn't. /N. Wanna bet? He moved closer, his cologne mixing with the faint scent of wood polish. She could feel the air tighten between them, music still humming in the background. AN. She pushed the chair back and stood up. You think you know everything, don't you? She snapped. JK. Nah, just better than you at this. /N. His teasing tone only fueled her irritation. Before she could respond, the teacher walked in and dropped the bomb. You two will perform together for the upcoming showcase. Time skips. AN. The next few days were pure chaos, arguments over every chord, every lyric. And yet, somehow, their voices started to sync. The tension turned into rhythm. YNPOV. He wasn't as bad as she thought. Still annoying, but there was something different. The way he listened when she sang, the way he adjusted his tone to match hers. It felt real. AN. That night, the lights were dim in the practice room. Only the soft glow of the console lit their faces. She hit the wrong note and groaned. YN. I can't get it right. /N. Jungkook leaned closer, voice softer this time. JK. Hey, relax. You'll get it. You always do. /N. She blinked. He was serious. No smirk, no teasing, just that warm, quiet voice. YNPOV. Was this the same guy? /N. Hours passed, the last note finally perfect. She leaned back, exhausted. He looked at her, a tiny smile tugging at his lips. JK. You did good. Y/N. We did good. /N. He laughed under his breath. That laugh, soft, genuine, hit something deep inside her. JK. Pav tilde. She didn't know how hard it was for me not to stare every time she smiled after nailing a verse I used to tease her, because it was easier than admitting I cared. And now here I was sitting next to her, trying not to let it show. AN. Silence lingered. Then she turned, eyes meeting his. YN. Why'd you help me today? You usually just make it harder. JK. Maybe I'm tired of pretending I don't care. /N. That caught her off guard. She didn't answer, just looked away, cheeks burning. JK POV. I chuckled softly. You don't have to say anything. Just sing with me tomorrow. /N. She nodded. For the first time, there was no sarcasm, no challenge, just quiet, understanding. Time skips. Next evening after the showcase, AN. The applause was still echoing when they stepped off stage. He turned to her, eyes shining brighter than the lights above them. JK, told you we'd kill it. N. Yeah. Don't get too full of yourself. /N. He laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. Then, out of nowhere, JK, you make music sound better, you know that. /N. She froze. For once, she didn't have a comeback. He grinned wider, noticing her blush. JK. What? I'm just saying the truth. /N. As she walked away, his voice followed her, teasing, but gentle this time. JK, since it's just the beginning, I'll let you go this time. But next session, you're mine on that chorus. /N. And maybe, just maybe, she didn't mind that author's POV tilde the crowd had left. Lights were dim again, and the music room felt strangely calm. After all that noise, only two people remained. YN and Jungkook, sitting on the edge of the stage, legs swinging, the air thick with something neither wanted to name. AN. No teasing this time, no eye rolls, just silence, the kind that says more than words ever could. YN POV. It's weird, huh? How quiet it gets after all that cheering. Her voice barely above a whisper, like she didn't want to break the moment. JK. Yeah, weird, but kinda nice too. /N. He said, looking at the floor, his hands fidgeting with the bracelet on his wrist. The same hands that used to push buttons, toss pens, and point out her mistakes. Now, they just trembled a little. YN POV. She glanced sideways, his jawline sharp in the dim light, his hair still messy from the stage. For some reason, her chest tightened. Why did he look softer now? /N. Jungkook caught her looking and smiled faintly. Not his usual cocky grin, just a quiet, honest one. JK. You were amazing out there. Y/N. You too. Didn't expect you to hold that last note though. /N. He laughed under his breath. Told you I could keep up with you. She smiled. First time she'd smiled at him, not because of him. Time skips. AN. The next few weeks were calmer. They practiced together every evening. Sometimes they barely talked. Sometimes they laughed too much to sing. And somehow, that was enough. YN POV. He'd bring her coffee. Not every day, just when she looked too tired to ask for it. And he never said a word about it, just left it beside the keyboard and acted like he didn't care. She always pretended not to notice. AN. One evening, rain hit the studio windows, soft and steady. The others had already left. Jungkook was tuning the mic. YN was lost in a slow melody, humming to herself. JK POV. She didn't know I'd stopped working just to listen. Her voice wasn't perfect. It cracked, drifted. But God, it felt real, like something raw. Something that hit straight in the chest. AN. He stepped closer without realizing, his voice low. JK, you sound beautiful. Y/NPOV. Her hands froze over the keys. She turned, eyes wide. He looked nervous, like he'd said something he shouldn't. AN. The silence between them thickened, stretched, and then softened. YN. Thanks, she whispered, voice shaking a little. AN. He smiled. Don't thank me, just keep singing. A/N. They stayed like that, her on the piano bench, him standing close enough for her to feel his breath when he spoke. No words, no teasing. Just quiet, understanding. Time skips. Few days later. AN. The showcase results came out. They'd won first place. Everyone was cheering, hugging, celebrating. But her eyes searched for one person. YNPOV. She found him near the back of the hall, headphones hanging around his neck. As always, when their eyes met, he raised his hand, small smile curving his lips. AKPOV. She looked happy, really happy, and maybe, for the first time in a long while, so did I. AN. He walked up to her, slow and steady. JK, told you we'd make a good team. Y/N. Guess you were right for once. A/N. He chuckled, shaking his head, then softer. JK, you know, when you sing, it feels like everything else just fades. A/N. Her throat tightened at the sincerity in his voice. YN. You're really saying this out loud, huh? JK. Yeah. I guess I'm done hiding things. A/N. She looked at him, eyes shining with something new, not confusion, not fear, just quiet warmth. YNPOV. Maybe this wasn't the same boy who mocked her. Maybe he'd always been more than what she saw. AN. Jungkook took a deep breath. JK, you don't have to say anything. Just promise you'll keep singing with me. Y/NPOV. Her lips curved into a small smile. I will. A/N. And in that silence that followed, no crowd, no stage, no spotlight, they finally found what music couldn't teach. Peace authors. POV tilde the days after the showcase felt different. The music room wasn't just a place to practice anymore. It was their place now, where silence didn't feel empty, and every note felt like a secret they shared. AN. YN arrived early that day. The studio smelled like coffee, and Jungkook wasn't there yet, which was rare. He was always the first one in YNPOV. Weird, she mumbled. Dropping her bag beside the piano, she sat down, letting her fingers wander across the keys. Soft, slow dot. It was the same tune they'd played together during the performance. AN. The door creaked open. She didn't need to look up to know who it was. JK. You started without me. Y/NPOV. She smirked, not stopping her hands. You're late. A/N. He dropped his bag and leaned against the piano, watching her play for a while. Neither said a word, just the quiet hum of the piano filling the room. JK POV. I could have watched her like that for hours, hair falling on her face, eyes lost in the rhythm. She didn't even realize she was the rhythm. AN. He finally sat beside her, shoulder brushing hers. The song faded, and the silence took over again. JK. You know, I miss this when you're not around. Y/NPOV. She blinked, unsure if she heard right. You what? /N. He chuckled, scratching the back of his neck. Forget it. That sounded weird. Y/NPOV. No, say it. Her voice came out softer than she expected. AN. Jungkook turned to her. Eyes steady now, JK. I just like being here when it's you and me. That's all. /N. Her chest tightened. No teasing this time. No smirk. Just truth time skips. A week later. AN. They had a new song to work on, something slower. Emotional, but that day. YN couldn't focus. Her mind kept drifting back to his words. And every time she caught him looking at her heartbeat went off beat. YNPOV. Focus. YN, it's just practice, she whispered to herself. AN. But it wasn't just practice anymore. Every shared glance felt louder than the music. Every silence felt heavier than the chords. JK POV. She didn't know what she did to me. Every time she sang, it felt like she was telling my story. The one I never had the guts to share. AN. That evening, the sky outside turned orange, and the studio glowed in the fading light. They finished the song. No words, no claps, just that quiet satisfaction of something perfect. JK. You killed it, he said softly. YN. We killed it. /N. He smiled, that same small, gentle smile that never failed to make her blush. She turned to pack her stuff, but he stopped her. JK. Hey, /N. She turned back, and for a second, everything slowed down. His eyes met hers, calm, sure, warm. JK. You remember when I said I was done hiding things? Y/NPOV. She nodded, heartbeat picking up again. JK. I meant it. /N. He took a step closer, his voice a little shaky now. JK. I like you. YN. Not just in the studio, not just when you sing. I just like you. /N. Her lips parted, but no words came out. He looked terrified and honest all at once. YNPOV. Jungkook, she whispered. I/N. He shook his head, smiling faintly. JK. You don't have to say it. Just don't run away this time. /N. She didn't dot instead. She stepped closer, close enough that their shoulders brushed again. YNPOV. I wasn't planning to. /N. His laugh, soft and relieved, filled the space between them. And when he reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face, the world outside just faded. AN. No big confessions, no perfect endings, just two people sitting in a room full of music, finally in tune with each other. Authors. Pav tilde. It had been almost a month since the competition, and somehow they'd become inseparable. Practice sessions turned into long talks. Songs turned into shared laughter. And yet, neither of them ever said the words again. AN. They didn't need to. It was all there in the glances, in the pauses, in the music. YNPOV. You're late again, she called out, not even looking up from the keyboard. JK. Relax, I brought coffee. AN. She turned, ready to scold him, but froze when she saw the cup, her favorite one, with her name scribbled on the side in messy handwriting. YNPOV. You remembered, JK. Of course. I'm not completely useless. /N. She laughed, a sound that still made his heart trip every time JK POV. Watching her smile never got old. It was like music. I didn't have to write AN. He took his usual spot beside her, their shoulders brushing, fingers moving on the keys in sync. For once, everything felt easy. AN. Then the teacher walked in. We're performing again next week. A duet. Y/NPOV. Her heart skipped. Another performance. Another chance to mess up, or maybe to get it right again. AN. Jungkook just grinned. Guess we're a team again. She nodded, pretending not to notice how her pulse picked up when he said we time skips, night before the duet. AN. The studio was empty except for them rain outside. Dim lights inside. They were rehearsing. But it didn't feel like work anymore. YNPOV. She missed a note and groaned. Ugh, I can't focus when you're staring. JK POV. She wasn't wrong, I was staring. She looked too beautiful not to AN. He smirked, trying to cover the heat rising to his ears. JK. Then focus harder. A/N. She rolled her eyes, but her lips twitched into a smile. AN. As the last note faded, silence settled between them. Again Jungkook shifted closer, voice barely above a whisper. JK. You nervous? Y/N. A little. A/N. He leaned in, resting his elbows on his knees, eyes fixed on her. JK. Don't be. We've done this before. And you know what? Y/N. What, JK? This time, it's not about winning. A/N. She frowned. Then what is it about, JK? You'll see tomorrow. Time skips. The next evening. AN. The stage lights were softer this time, crowd smaller, but to YN. It felt like the world had stopped moving. AN. The music began, a slow melody, familiar, yet new halfway through. Jungkook turned his mic off. YN POV. What's he doing? She thought. Then he smiled at her, the kind that said, trust me. AN. He sang the rest of the line to her, not the audience. Every word felt like a confession, wrapped in melody. Her hands trembled. But she didn't stop playing. JK POV. Her eyes met mine mid-song. And right there, with all those people watching, she smiled, soft, genuine. Everything I'd ever wanted to see. AN. The song ended. The crowd erupted. But all he heard was her soft laugh beside him. YN POV. That's what you meant, huh? She whispered. JK. Yeah. It was never about the stage. It was always about you. A/N. She looked at him, eyes glistening under the lights. YN. You're impossible, you know that, JK. Yeah, but you still like me. A/N. She laughed, shaking her head as he took her hand and led her off the stage. AN. And maybe that was their thing. No big words, no dramatic gestures, just music, laughter, and two hearts learning how to beat in the same rhythm. Authors. Pav Tilda. The studio smelled like late nights and half-empty coffee cups. It had been weeks since their last performance, but the memory of that stage still lingered. Every glance, every note, every heartbeat. AN. Tonight wasn't about rehearsing someone else's music tonight. It was about creating theirs. YN POV. So, what do we call it? She asked, flipping through a blank notebook. JK. No title yet. Let's just start. and see where it goes. A/N. He sat across from her, guitar in hand, tapping his fingers against the wood, the same rhythm she used to hum when she was nervous. YNPOV. Okay, fine, but you're doing the first verse. I always start. JKPOV. You're bossy, you know that, he teased, smiling. YN. And you're still talking. Play. A/N. He strummed the first few chords, soft, unpolished, but real, the kind of sound that felt like home. AN. She started writing, her pen moving without hesitation. This timeline's about fear, about trying, about finding peace in noise lines that sounded like them. YNPOV. She read one lyric out loud. We kept breaking, just to sound right. JKPOV. That's good, he said, eyes lifting to meet hers. Because that's what we did, didn't we? A/N. She smiled faintly. Yeah, we broke a few times. A/N. They kept writing, swapping ideas, laughing, arguing over words, fixing chords, until the night blurred into dawn time skips. A few days later, AN. The song was ready. No backup tracks, no effects. Just piano, guitar, and the kind of emotion that can't be faked. YNPOV. You sure were ready, JK. We were ready the day you smiled at me on stage. A/N. She rolled her eyes, but couldn't hide her blush. AN. They started recording. The red light blinked. And suddenly, everything else disappeared. YNPOV. Her voice blended with his, like two stories that finally made sense together. The melody rose and fell just like their past. Chaotic, raw, beautiful. JKPOV. I didn't even realize I was smiling while singing. She always brought that out of me, calm in chaos, warmth in noise. AN. When the final note faded, neither of them spoke. The silence after the music was heavy, but peaceful. YNPOV. It sounds like us, she whispered. JK. That's the point. A/N. He leaned back, stretching his arms with a tired grin. Guess this means we're officially partners in music. And Y/N. Don't say it. A/N. He laughed. Fine, you already know. A/N. She smiled, turning back to the keyboard, fingers brushing the same keys that started it all. YNPOV. Maybe this wasn't just a song. Maybe it was proof that broken things could still sound beautiful if they were played together. AN. Final lines. Their story didn't end with applause or fame. It ended the way all honest stories do. Quietly, perfectly, with a song only they could hear. Authors Pav. The city lights shimmered like tiny stars on earth. The crowd wasn't too big, but the energy, unmatched. Jungkook adjusted his mic, while YN stood a few steps away, clutching her guitar, the same one they'd used in the studio months ago. AN. It wasn't about fame tonight. It was about peace, closure, the kind you don't beg for, the kind that finds you quietly. JKPOV. I looked at her, same nervous smile, same spark in her eyes. It hit me. This stage wasn't ours because we earned it. It was ours because we survived everything that tried to break us. AN. The crowd started cheering as the lights dimmed. And just like that, The first note filled the air YNPOV. My fingers trembled a bit on the strings, but the moment Jungkook started singing, everything calmed. His voice, steady, low, warm, felt like home YNPOV. I joined in on the next line, and our voices found each other like they always had, imperfectly perfect AN. They weren't performing for the audience anymore. They were performing for the version of themselves that once didn't believe they could make it here. JKPOV. Halfway through the song, she looked at me. Just a small glance, no words, no smiles. Just understanding. That look said it all. We made it AN. When the last note faded, the silence before applause was almost poetic. It was the kind of silence that said, we don't need to say anything else. Y/NPOV. My heart was racing, but not from nerves this time. It was peace, the kind that doesn't come easy, but when it does, it stays. JKPOV. You did it, I whispered. YN. No, she smiled. We did, /N. The lights brightened, the crowd cheered, cameras flashed. But for them, the moment froze, the noise faded, leaving only that one heartbeat shared between two people who had learned to start again. Time skips. After the concert, AN. Backstage, Jungkook was still holding the guitar. YN was packing up her stuff, humming their song softly. JKPOV. You know, I said, that line you wrote, we kept breaking just to sound right. It hits harder live. Y/NPOV. She smiled, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Guess we finally sound right now. /N. He nodded, unable to stop smiling. Maybe she was right. Maybe this was what right sounded like. Not perfect, just real AN. Final lines. Outside, the crowd was still buzzing. But inside that quiet backstage room, two people sat side by side, a notebook full of lyrics between them, a future waiting to be written. And for the first time, neither of them were afraid of what came next. The end.